Hello, I'm Juan Davies, Chief Creative Officer at KCT and PBS SoCal, and I'm joined by the newsroom of KPCC and LAist for a daily reporter roundup. How is everyone today?
Good, thank you.
Alisa, welcome to the Reporter Roundup.
Thanks for having me.
You've been looking into community health clinics today, right?
Right. So the past weeks I've been following community health clinics in LA that serve patients who are low-wage workers and mostly immigrants. I found out that some of these clinics only had enough money to keep their doors open for a month or two. These clinics depend on the federal government to get reimbursement for the services that they give. But since the pandemic started, patient visits have gone down, and so their revenue's gone down, but their expenses have gone up. So they're buying things like PPE, so like the masks and the gloves, test kits. They also have to spend money setting up telehealth, right? So they can have services over the phone or internet. The clinics did get like kind of a small injunction of money from the federal government, but it hasn't been enough. So they've looked into things like the payment protection program, or they're expecting telehealth services to ramp up so they can get reimbursed on that. But many of them aren't out of the clear yet.
Another thing our newsroom has been following are sort of proposals in front of city council that could help renters, and Aaron's been following that.
Yeah, the city council is meeting as we're recording this, just like us. They're meeting over video chat, and they could potentially take a lot of action on rental housing. They're looking at setting up a rental assistance program and starting that with $1.15 million. That could help maybe 400 families in Los Angeles, they estimate. Also talking about rent freezes in Los Angeles, reclassifying rental debt, which would make it impossible to evict a tenant over that rental debt, and strengthening other protections for renters to prevent evictions. We're not sure what's going to happen with these proposals, but these are certainly issues that we're going to be tracking in the coming days and weeks.
As so many of us have limited our travel, we've seen oil prices really plummet this week, and Sharon's been looking at what that means for producers here in Southern California.
Right. I mean, two big oil producers had a price war, Russia and Saudi Arabia. They ramped up production. They cut prices just as the coronavirus precautions killed off demand. So now we have lots of cheap oil, but nobody wants it. So what you'll see is oil tankers sitting offshore holding oil or refined fuel, but nobody can buy it because there's no place to store it. Local refineries are operating at minimum capacity. So far, no layoffs, but that could change. And meanwhile, people who operate oil wells in Long Beach are facing layoffs. For us consumers, gasoline's cheap now, about $2.80 across LA, but not much is selling. So convenience stores and gas stations are surviving on sales of high-priced, high-margin snacks.
Hey, Sharon, I had a question. I know that you're monitoring audiences' questions that come to your website. Has there been any change in tone in the type of questions that people are asking?
That's hard to say because everybody's situation is going to be different. You know, I mean, we went through a huge ramp up of confusion about like, where do I go to get tested and what's my kid going to do all day? And I think now people are starting to settle in more and look a little bit more to the future. So, I mean, that feels encouraging, honestly.
Finally today, Elena's been talking to restaurant owners whose coronavirus-related insurance claims have been denied, and these restaurant owners are suing.
That's right. We are seeing the first wave of what I expect will be many more lawsuits where businesses, specifically in this case restaurants, have filed claims with their insurance company for loss of business due to coronavirus and the stay-at-home orders that forced them to close. And their insurance companies have denied the claim. And so for relief, they have gone to court. Now, the biggest, most famous restaurant doing that here in LA right now is Musso and Frank. Just turned 100 last year, one of the most iconic, classic LA restaurants. But there are other places doing it too. A small restaurant in downtown, Pez Cantina. And up in Northern California, Chef Thomas Keller also filed a similar suit. He's the guy who owns the fancy French Laundry.
Well, thank you so much to all of you at the newsroom of KPCC and LAist. And thank you all for tuning in. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.